we get a new call? Special operations.
Not yet. Is it on time?
That's on mine, but we go by that, so I let them look at that.
Scared into work. Scared into work. Yeah. Said into work with his camera. Take a picture. Should set it clock outside.
Recording in progress.
Call the North City Board of City Council meeting Thursday, April 10th, 2025. That's the Vice Services, Danger Fields, Mitigation, remain standing.
Father God, we just come to you and we want to thank you for this day. We want to thank you for the city hall and all the council and the police and the fire department. And we're just grateful. This is a place where we could live and work and play and grow as a community and as a people together, to be strong, to look out for one another. So the stuff on the agenda tonight, Lord, you just help us with that. And as we hear from the public and they get a vision of what the city's doing with redevelopment, development, and growth, that we will move forward. And we just are grateful as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor John Eric Hoover.
Here.
Vice Mayor Linda Rodriguez. Let the record show that Vice Mayor Linda Rodriguez is absent from tonight's meeting. Councilman David Mueller.
Here.
Councilman Robert Hubbard.
Here.
Councilwoman Lisa Burke.
Here.
City Attorney Nancy Meyer.
Here.
City Manager Matthew Cobbler.
Here. Thank you. I do have 3 sets of minutes, so we'll start with the first set. If I get a motion for the January 21st City Council meeting, special meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, I need a motion for the March 4th, 2025 Town Hall meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve town hall minutes.
Second. Have motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, I need a motion for the March 25th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes.
Motion for March 25th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes.
Second.
Have motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, item comments from the general public. I do have one signed up. Danny Fields, welcome.
Danny Fields, 8114 Leo Kid here in Port Richey. Again, I just want to thank you guys for all that you do, and I know the people has voted, so I'm glad that Lisa's back in, and got Chris coming up as going to be a council person, and I do appreciate Linda for all her services and everything she done and has done, and I value her and I just appreciate her. But you know, people vote, and that's what we do, so we move forward. So I'm here to also remind us that we got an event coming up at the Easter egg hunt at Waterfront Park. Is for the community, Saturday, April 19th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 12 at 8119 Old Post Road, Port Richey, Florida. I know the police are there to represent, and the fire department, and there will be food, fun, and games. We have also Christian motorcycle groups there and other Christians and businesses and communities to reach out and continue to do work in this area to support and work together, part of development and growth. And I also am grateful for the 100 years celebration and what we're doing. You know, they was fishing this morning. I couldn't make it. I'd rather be fishing, but I fish, so, but not as much as Leonard. Had to note that. We know we got a lot of things coming up. Some of this stuff I'll be able to make it to. So I'm actually sharing this on my page. I'm letting the community know, businesses know, to support the city. The mayor's ball coming up. That'd be a great thing to be a part of it. fireworks, I'll be making that event, the car show, I'll be there at that. And then later on, I do got some other stuff that I'm going to bring up, which is going to be called Faith and Family Month, but I'll bring that up at another time because it's too early yet. And so I've been working with a lot of people around this area and other areas to kind of promote that. So thank you for your time. Blessings in Jesus' name.
Thank you, Danny. That's all the sign-ups I have. By show of hands, anyone else in the crowd like to speak? Okay, seeing none, I bring it back to comments from the city manager. Pass it to Mr. Copper for his comments.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. I did submit in writing this report that everyone should have received earlier if you went to your OneDrive. But real quick, received notice from Captain Seltzer, the director of the County Dispatch Services, that last week, I guess it would have been, the Consolidated Communications Board met and unanimously approved the City of Port Richey joining the Consolidated Communications Center. With this hurdle cleared, the next step is to present the amended interlocal to the Board of County Commissioners, and he anticipates that will occur sometime in the next month or so. So hopefully by the end of May, I will let you know as soon as I get that scheduled. The city's received notice has been awarded $450,000 through the Highway Landscape Reimbursement Program to enhance and beautify the state right-of-way along US 19 from the river to the west of Leo Kidd Avenue. The money can be used for approved landscaping projects within the state right-of-way. The city must submit a letter of acceptance within 15 business days to acknowledge the city's intent to participate. Then the next step is to enter into an agreement with the state, which will require a formal vote from the city council. Agreement will outline the permissible activities that the city can undertake to enhance and beautify this area. Tonight, if we get a consensus to go ahead and send that letter of intent back to them.
Yep. Can I get a consensus? Any objections?
No. Where's that particular?
So this is from the river to west of Leo Kidd Avenue. So it's through the intersection, Ridge intersection. So a little bit north.
North to the river. So does it include 19?
Yeah, it's all of 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah,
it.
this is US 19 right away where we can do it.
We just recently did one of those. Or, no,
Not inside the city.
City did.
That was a cleanup. That's what you're talking about.
No. That we had done.
That was in 2018,
Okay.
that the medians were done.
Right.
We're in 2018. So we asked for additional funds to go ahead and either redo them or now we're allowed to do the entire right.
Because we didn't
right
get
away.
it the last time, maybe.
Sorry?
I said, and maybe get some palm trees
Someone has a dream.
since we didn't get any the last time. So we can expand on what we have.
Yeah.
Perfect.
How much did we get in 2018?
About 180,000.
Yeah, it wasn't as much. We inflated from what we asked for last time.
Yeah, there are specific things that this money can be spent on.
Irrigation and that.
Irrigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be good.
Yeah, so there's a number of things, and once we get into the agreement stage, that's where it'll lay out what are the permissible uses of the money. And part of that, I think we're allowed up to 10% of the $450,000 to do design and engineering. So once we get to that stage, then we'll have a better understanding of what's possible, and then we'll start talking about what it is we want to do.
So no objections, right?
Oh,
Okay, there you go.
Ajax Paving is preparing to begin the milling and resurfacing of Bay Boulevard. City staff recently participated in a pre-construction meeting with Ajax to review project details and logistics. Paving is expected to begin in early May and will take approximately 10 days to complete. Advance notice will be provided to residents with signage placed along the corridor at least 2 weeks prior to the start of construction. Given that Bay Boulevard is the sole access point for residents on the west side, and that the available right-of-way that they'll be working in is somewhat limited size-wise, we anticipate this project will cause significant disruptions of travel in that area. We kindly ask for patience and cooperation during this time, as this work is essential to improving the long-term safety and condition of the roadway.
So on that, before you move on, obviously that's the middle of our centennial celebration stuff, and so that is probably not the greatest time to do that. The parade is scheduled to be on the South. Parade is the 17th, right? Saturday. And I know that before when they gave us a time frame, it slipped a little bit. I think there was some weather and stuff in there as well. So we definitely wouldn't want to be doing that because the parade has to cross over Bay. And of course, all the resident stuff going down Waterfront Park and whatnot. And then the week before that is the when we move to the 10th. That's So that's at Walmart. That's the food truck card show. Would be an issue.
So that should be.
So is there a way that could be shifted a week or two?
Maybe start late
Well,
April.
but we don't have that control. You know what I think, and this is surprising to me because they told us it would probably be 6 weeks or more before they would be able to confirm a date for us. So this must have been an opening in their schedule. So if we go back to them and say this is not a good date,
It might take longer.
We could be looking well beyond that.
When I say early May, what does that mean exactly?
Exactly what that means, early May. Could be May 1st, could be May 10th. Yeah.
Well, if it was May 1st, that'd probably work.
Yeah.
Is there a way we could hone in on?
Well, let's
Talk to them a little more.
This is what I know today.
Okay.
When they get back to us and give us specifics in terms of here's the start date, we'll know.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you could just share kind of our centennial schedule with them, see what they work around.
And where are they actually paving from, to and from?
Wilkins all the way down.
All the way to Channel.
All the way to Channel.
Yeah, the whole road.
Well, they're going to have ingress and egress on one lane while they're working.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be working at night, right?
No, during the day. So we are aware of all of those things, and obviously we'll work to see if it's not going to start until like right the day before the parade. We probably won't let them start the day before the parade. So we'll see. Wanted to point out to the council that you'll need to appoint a new representative to the 21-25 Coastal Resiliency Committee. That term expires at the April 22nd, and we'll need a representative appointed prior to that.
Yeah, we can handle that in boards committees coming up.
The last thing I had written, I submitted the formal swearing in for the new police chief, Frank Ruggiero, who happens to be sent back there. Will be on Monday, April 21st at 4 p.m. here in the council chambers. Those interested in attending this event are invited to come. What did I say? 4 p.m. And the last thing that I didn't have written down for you, I wanted to introduce and have him come up here, Derek Smith, right there. He recently started with us as the CRA Resiliency Coordinator with the city. He joins us coming from the city of Clearwater, where he was in their emergency management operation.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. But I am a local, born in Newport Richey, and been living in West Pasco, from Holiday to Hudson. The family's been here for about 60 years, so know the area pretty well. So happy to be back, actually, and excited to get some things rolling. My background is in emergency management, resiliency, things like that. I have a PhD in criminal justice and emergency management, focus on resiliency, and I'm really excited to be able to use that knowledge and really get some things going here for the city.
Well, welcome. We love that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
And that's all I had.
Thanks, sir. Okay. Next up is comments from the boards committees. I'll start with the Centennial Committee. We met, and so we had a resignation on the committee, and that it was Cheryl Taylor, and she actually had the two events, the car show and a food truck night, and so that was scheduled for this weekend, I think, originally, wasn't it? And so obviously we've talked to Ocean Honda, who's going to be over there. We've moved the date to the 10th of May. Or sorry, is that? Yes, 10th of May. Keep all these dates messed up, but yeah, 10th of May, which is Mother's Day weekend. Mother's Day is on a Sunday. Obviously, this is a Saturday, and so we talked with TJ Lombardo. He actually did the Newport Richey Centennial Car Show, and he was. I tell you what, when I talked to him on the phone and asked him to come into the meeting, and I mean, he just really laid it on us. He's just going to take the ball and run with it, and so we're real hopeful that's going to be a very successful event. He's already kind of got the word out there, and he's getting a lot of interest. He's going to do the trophies and everything, and the only thing that really changed on that event was that it went from a $15 car registration to $20. That goes directly to him. We don't pay him anything. He just runs with it. And he also has a food truck network. He's going to book all the food trucks for that thing. That's going to come through the city. He's going to basically reach out to them, send them to us. We get to keep that fee. So hopefully that's going to go off very well. Like I said, I was excited to hear all he had to offer. So
Walmart's authorized the place, right?
And Walmart has authorized the back part of their parking lot to do that. So I think it's going to be a really good event. Sure. What else on Centennial? We are getting ready to mail out the invitations to all the dignitaries we're inviting. I finished up the letter. Kim is trying to get it formatted same size as the invitation. They're addressing envelopes, so those should go out. Any update on that, Sal? By the end of the week or first of next? To be determined. Okay, very soon. Yeah, so we get those out very soon. Anything else of note? She's thinking, Sal, that we should. We did get the T-shirts. So we got the T-shirts in. Look great. We're going to sell those for $15 a shirt. We also got the challenge coins in.
Both have been posted, so they'll be out on the website and Facebook for people to view what they look like, and also
They're out there now?
I'm finishing up.
Okay,
Right
so yeah, check the website. The challenge coins, we're going to sell those for 10. We got enough. Everybody that goes to the mayor's ball will get one of those. But if we got enough for that, but we're going to sell them along the way, and if we need to order more, we will. But they turned out really nice. It's the city logo on one side. You flip it over, and it's the Centennial logo. They look really nice, and those are $10 if you want to buy one. Or if you, like I said, if you go to the mayor's ball, you get that for free.
And they just buy them and pick them up here?
There were some emails that went out for the board's committees. Some confusion on what the pricing was, but just to reiterate what that is. So the board and committee member gets a free admission to the mayor's ball, and if they want to bring somebody, it's full price, which is $100. So, but the board and committee person does get their ticket for free. Time capsules. I did mention time capsules. Be thinking about what you want to put in there. Obviously, the committee is going to put together some things, and then each council person would have a packet that they would put in there with some whatever things you want. We did purchase a large pot it's a stainless steel pot. It's really nice. It's got a silicone seal on it. It clamps down. We're going to put the city logo on it. That way when it gets buried, we don't have to worry about.
We're going in the same hole?
Yeah, we're going to do it in the same hole. I don't think we talked about that, but I would assume we would do the same area.
But I mean, it was a kind of a narrow tube the last time. Is that pot going to fit in there?
Might dig a little wider.
It's softer, so we're going to accommodate the hole, so it's fine. Because they already backfilled the hole, so we're just going to use the same. They soft filled it.
A new hole.
Yeah. But the pot's really wide. I mean, it would basically, a manila folder like we had in those other ones. They would slide down in there without being.
What's the size? Like 18 by 18 circumference.
It's big.
It's 15.5 inches wide and about 15, almost about 13, 14 inches high. So it's like almost like the same size as a 5-gallon bucket, just a little shorter than a 5-gallon bucket.
And so after they open it, whenever they open it 50 years, 100 years from now, then they can fry a turkey as well. It's very good.
If they're still into frying turkey.
Yeah, exactly. It is possible. It's probably big enough to put 2 turkeys in that sucker. I think it's a big one. So anyway, I think that's pretty much all the updates we had. So
we got turkey in every pot.
Yeah, exactly. So we're moving forward with the events. I know the fishing tournament and the golf tournament are coming up. So hopefully we'll get those events off the ground. Business Expo as well. The Business Expo, I think we've got. Do we get to 10?
I think there is 10.
I think we got 10. So that's it's kind of, we were hoping to at least have that many. So she may be able to pick up some more.
10 entries.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I've got from the Centennial.
And what was the date on we have to have our time capsule data by?
Good question. So we're going to do all that burial stuff in the morning of the 18th. And so
5/18?
Yeah, and so what we want to do is have everything by May 12th is what we said, wasn't it, Sal?
Yeah, at least a week before.
Yeah. So the Monday before, we want to have everything ready to go. Any other boards, committees? I don't think we have anybody else here, do we? Okay. So that being said, going back to Matt's comment about filling the 21-25 Coastal Resiliency Council representation seat. Anybody want to make a motion for?
Yes, I nominate Bob.
Okay. Nominate Bob. Is there a second?
With his experience on the water, I think he'd be a great asset for that team.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. A motion, a second. Any further discussion on it?
No, Bob's not here. Let's do it.
And
That's the change you take when you
if you're not here, you get assigned duties, right?
That's right.
Any public comment?
Oh,
Okay.
congratulations.
Dang, we should have done a little faster. Just to catch you up, so we're going to vote. Dave just nominated you for the 21-25 Coastal Resiliency position. I know you expressed interest in it before, so it's probably not surprised to you.
Okay.
You do accept the nomination, I hope, right?
I'll accept it.
Okay, it was seconded by Lisa. We're going to any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing no hands, I'll put it to vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome to that committee. One question I did have, but I'm not sure how that works. They always call it a council liaison for the CAC, which Linda also occupies. But I don't think the resolution actually specifically states that's a council member. They've always kind of called it that.
That was debated back and forth. That it really wasn't a liaison position. I'd have to look at the language.
Did she say whether she was going to stay on that committee or not?
She wouldn't be the liaison.
Well, she wouldn't be the liaison, right? But obviously she could still stay on it.
Sure.
Do we want to entertain a liaison, or do we need that, or?
Let's wait and see what happens.
Hey, we can play it by
Maybe
ear.
we
yes.
do that at the next meeting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Next up is the consent agenda. Look for motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda for April 8th.
10.
Well, it says April 8th on this.
Oh, mine says 10. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the notes.
Mine stated at the
Right there.
Oh, well, you're looking at the actual consent. Oh, I'm on the agenda.
I'm looking at the actual document.
Yep.
Doesn't
I have
say
a
the
motion.
answer.
Is there a second?
April 8th.
Second.
Okay. Motion second. Any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, I bring it to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next up, council business. Item number 3, purchase of ZOLL equipment. I'll pass it to Mr. Koppler for introduction.
The fire department received a grant through the Department of Health to purchase a ZOLL X Series advanced monitor, defibrillator, autopots, NXT CPR device, an AED Pro utilizing, or I guess AED Pro is the end of it. Is that all of what it is? I thought it was just one thing.
No, it's,
3 things?
yes,
Three separate things. So I bring him into it because he knows all about it.
Right.
And so now he's going to start.
the purchase in front of you is for the purchase, like Mr. Koppler said, we were awarded the Florida Department of Health grant fund last year to help move us towards the advanced cardiac life support that's in our capital improvement. This is allowing us to purchase a monitor, a auto pulse device, and an AED Pro. So all of our vehicles after this purchase, both the engines will have a monitor, an ALS monitor, and all of our vehicles will have an AED on them at all times. And then the CPR device is a device that provides high-level compressions to patients. It's different than your traditional hand CPR, I guess you'd refer to it as bumping on the chest. This squeezes the heart completely, and the rate in which they're reviving patients, they're seeing at 80 to 90% rate of revivable patients. So you got to extrapolate that information down. All this stuff. That means 80% of people we put it on that they're going to come back. Just saying that they're with the high quality CPR. So all three, the ZOLL auto pulse and the advanced monitor will actually work together, and it will tell you if the compressions and everything is being done correctly or if not. And they also will do the ventilations of the patient, tell us how effectively we are being with ventilations.
I will also point out that this is being purchased off a cooperative agreement contract. So it has been publicly bid through that and awarded.
So on the pricing, there was one thing in there that was highlighted. It was contracted 51,000. This contract summary.
That what the grant's for, I believe, right?
Yeah, so unfortunately, because the grant is going off 2019 pricing, we went through this with the Florida Department of Health. We went through this with the air trailer. A lot of the grants are still using 2019 pricing. Obviously, 2020, 2021, all the prices skyrocketed. We went back to the Florida Department of Health and said, look, here's where we're at. They kind of said, well, that's what we have to award you guys. If you want more, but you can't get less. You can't not, because we did put in for the grant for an AED, an auto pulse, and a monitor and a glide scope. But the glide scope's from a different individual, and that's the $4,000 purchase. So we can't not fulfill the grant. So either we don't do the grant or we do the grant.
So we're getting 51,000 for the grant.
We're
for
getting
this?
a total of the state of Florida. We are getting $51,675.
See, what I was trying to figure out is just that. What is it we're buying? Looks like we're buying about $71,000 worth of stuff.
That's correct.
So we're going to come out of pocket 20.
Correct.
But that's not in the summary. And that's when we present data like that, say, okay, we're buying A, B, and C. The total cost is $71,000. A grant's going to cover 51, and we're going to have to pay a share, which are matching, whatever, for the balance. And that basically walks us through the numbers so that we don't have to dig so far. But
it seemed like, I don't know if some of these other ones have to pay more attention, but on the fiscal impact cost revenue statement, it seemed like that would just be right there. Our net's $20,000 on this. That's our impact, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
So this is all budgeted. Everything's yeah.
A motion or discussion? Public. I need a motion.
You're going to ask the public.
If it moves,
motion,
yeah.
Motion to approve. Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any public comment? Danny, welcome.
My name's Danny Phils, 8114 Leo Kid. You know, you guys already know that I lost my wife. So that one of that device that he talked about when they come in, because I was doing CPR, and so while they was trying to get her to the ambulance, they put that machine on her. It did it for them, and it monitored. And time they was getting out there, it already let them know that you know her heart started beating again, and so they could monitor that. So these are equipment that we need for our residents and for us as well to have that response, because you know it'd be hard trying to do that and then load them and you know and doing all that at the same time. So these equipments make a big difference. So that was the first time ever seeing one, and so I was having a visual of all that, and so I'm for the equipment. So that'd be what I would say yes to it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, you bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next up is item number 4, approval of the 287G Task Force Memorandum of Agreement. I'll pass it to Mr. Copper for introduction.
On August 12th, 2006, the United States Congress enacted 8 U.S.C. Section 1357G as amended, which allows for the delegation of some powers of immigration officers to state officers and employees commonly referred to as participation in the 287G program. On February 13th, 2025, Governor DeSantis signed and enacted Senate Bill 2C, Chapter 25-1, Laws of Florida, amending Section 908.104, Florida statute, directing local governments to use best efforts to support the enforcement of federal immigration law. The United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement has issued a memorandum of agreement, the 287G Task Force Model, MOA. The MOA for participation is an agreement between the Port Richey Police Department and ICE for the implementation and enforcement of the MOA, which is for the approval of trained law enforcement officers to perform certain ICE functions under the direction and supervision of ICE within Port Richey jurisdiction. Not all Port Richey police department personnel will obtain the delegated authority of an ICE officer. Only those individuals who are nominated, trained, and receive specific authorizations from ICE will have such authority. I don't know, Captain, if you have anything you want to add to that? No. And he doesn't. I don't know. If the city attorney wants to.
I don't, there's a memorandum, I think, that was included in the agenda that I had provided, just kind of giving the overview of what this means. There's a couple things with the agreement itself that concern me about liability. I don't think they're going to change it because of my concerns, so I don't think that's something we can get changed. But there are some comments in the memo that you can read, just so you know that and understand that there may be liability on behalf of the city and behalf possibly some of your officers. So there's some questions that remain that at some point will be clarified and addressed. But I will say, and that's what Mr. Hopler and I have talked about, that this is the first step. The statute requires the city's best efforts. If you do not give your best efforts, and best effort is not defined, if you have been following this in the news, the governor's office has threatened to remove people from office. So I suggest you give your best efforts and move forward with this, and we'll see where it takes us. Once you approve it, it goes to ICE, and then they approve it. Once they do that, if they do that, then the chief, I assume at that point it'll be the chief, will have to provide somebody and nominate somebody from his crew to be part of this, and then if they accept that person, then they move forward with that. So there are chances that your agency's not even used. They might be. We don't, I mean, you just don't know that part yet. But I think best efforts would be that we do the step, even though I have concerns.
Motion to approve the 287G Task Force Memorandum of Agreement.
Second.
That motion is second. Any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, put it to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, item number 5, Division of Emergency Management Subrecipient Agreement for the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program Award. I'll pass it to Mr. Copper for introduction.
Thank you. Staff submitted a grant request to the Florida Department of Emergency Management for $247,200 in funding for the acquisition and installation of generators at 4 pump stations located on Bay Boulevard, Olsner Street, Chapel Avenue, and Keener Avenue. Currently, these pump stations have no backup power, and when the power is lost, field crews are required to constantly monitor and pump down the station's wet wells manually until power is restored. The installation of these generators will keep the pump stations running during power outages or severe weather events. On December 30th, 2024, staff received notification that the grant request had been approved for funding of $179,056.94 from FDEM's HMGP. And so we are asking tonight, obviously, for council to approve this award.
Open floor, motion and discussion.
Yes. We're asking for the mayor to sign. Don't you usually sign for this as city manager? What's going on here?
Well, with
That's their
FDEM,
requirement.
yeah,
Okay.
they usually recognize the chief elected official.
I guess.
Florida Department.
Motion to approve item number 5 for the management subrecipient agreement for hazard mitigation grant program award.
Allow the mayor to sign it.
Yeah.
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll put to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. That's all council business. Next up is old business. Is there any old business to discuss? I know we had some lights installed, additional lights around the city. I'd heard from some residents they were really happy with the additional lighting.
Yeah, and I went out last night to confirm. It looks like all the lights are up there. So I'm just going to double check with Duke Energy and confirm. They haven't sent me an email yet, but it looks like they put the ones up. We had 2 on Deidre. We had 1 on the corner of Cody Avenue and Old Post Road. We had 1 on the corner of Bay Boulevard and Green Street.
Bay Boulevard where?
Bay Boulevard and Green Street. That's
Oh, we
new-
got a light on?
That's a new light now. Yeah, there's a new
I
light.
didn't notice.
Yep.
Pay attention to that.
And that one is up. And I believe there may be another one down Bay Boulevard, but I have to check the list. But I was going to update old business on the next agenda.
Yeah, and I just heard from folks that they're really happy with that. It was dark, now it's light. So.
Yay.
Any other old business?
No more old business, but I did bring up something this week in case anybody else noticed. I wondered why there were so many business tax certificates that were not renewed all at the same time.
Yeah, several
There were a
cases, yeah.
There were a lot all at once, and so I personally had concerns with why were there so many at once. Like, so there's going to be some better form of communication to get out.
They're actually due October 1st.
I know, and yeah, that was explained to me. Matt explained it to me, and his reasoning all made sense, and it did all make sense. But I'm just bringing up that I saw that and thought, dang, that's a lot of those all at once, and I just wondered why. I didn't know if anybody else noticed.
Yeah, I just what?
Yeah.
Did they just go through
It's
and
just
decide
people
that?
procrastinating.
Yeah, they're following up. We got some time from doing storm-related stuff, and they started following those.
You think it was more so because of storms this year, or it happens every year because they just forget?
It's every year.
It's every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave me a good, when we talked about it, but I just wondered if anybody else noticed because it just seemed like it was so many.
I think this year the difference is that in the past we probably chunked them a little bit differently, and because of what we're going through with the storm, we couldn't chunk them the way we were chunking them. So now it's everyone we can get through as fast as possible.
Those are all NOVs, I guess. That
No. Sure.
they go right to citation.
Well, it depends. I mean, some are NOV, some are citations, depending upon when they were sent.
And just if somebody's, let's say they ceased to operate, I guess they need to come in and tell us that they've ceased to operate.
Yep.
And if they get that citation, they can just say, "Oh, I closed my business," and I would take care of it.
Right. He made a good point on that too because he said, and even with the hurricanes, there could have been businesses that went out. We just don't know about it, which would have added to that number.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and when we sent out a letter to the businesses related to the planning and zoning boards meeting on signage, and from that we received a number of them back that weren't delivered. So we know that there were businesses that went out and that list came from the BTR list. So
Right. Anyway, that was it. I just wanted to say.
Any other old business? Dave, do you have anything?
Old business?
Yeah.
No,
You like this part of the agenda,
No,
normally.
I got new business.
I guess okay. Well, let's roll on to that then. All right. So next up is comments from the mayor and city council. I'll just turn it right over to Councilman Mueller.
I was looking at the reports, and I noticed the activity report in the police department. I kind of like this format, this new format that you've got listed there. I'm noticing that the red light camera numbers are actually rising, and I'm hoping that's a good thing for us, revenue-wise. But I noticed that you do have those signs, or the speed signs out there trying to get people down. And we have two red light cameras one at Grand and one at Ridge. Is that right?
So there's two locations. There's Grand Boulevard and Ridge Road.
Okay.
Grand Boulevard has north and southbound, so two different cameras there.
Right.
Ridge Road has northbound, and there's two cameras southbound.
Okay.
So there's 5 active cameras at two
Okay.
intersections.
Okay. And then we're actually, we're not tracking those that expire. Do we have a list of red light camera tickets that have not been or met the time frame where we can't enact on them, right?
within the 30 days.
30 days.
Within that 30 days. Are we tracking what's falling off and we're missing an opportunity there?
So in the system report, it shows them as I'm trying to remember the verbiage that they use. controllable exceptions, I believe, is what they fall under. But my verbiage might be off slightly, but it's
further
another
broken down-
category.
It's further broken down to where you can see any that were not,
Enacted upon within
Yeah.
that period of time. I'm thinking that might be a piece of information that would help enhance this data to see that, hey, we're closing the gap on that. I know this thing, we had some gaps in the red light camera last year, and we saw a decline in revenue. And I don't, with these three times, it's gone up, and we've got more people in the March timeframe. So it looks like things are improving, which is a good thing. So,
And I think I'm trying to remember last month when we had our meeting what those numbers were. I don't recall that there were any exceptions.
I don't believe there have been.
Yeah. There may have been exceptions, but none of them were for
that reason.
Yeah, for that reason.
Right. But maybe we want to, another little metric,
Just to see that zero every time.
Just to see that it's moving in the right direction. Yeah. And then in the communications file, I get or section of this file, I guess. Just about every column in the percentage is 0 or 1, with the exception of this thing, directed patrol perform. I believe that's when somebody's assigned that day to work and they're out there driving around, right, and doing a patrol, right?
It can be a variety. If an officer goes out to a business and actually does a physical check of the business, they may put that in as a directed patrol, or if they're patrolling a specific location or something of that nature.
I'm just wondering if we pull that out of these metrics and show that as a separate line, but then everything else is, an event or a burglary, a citizen assist or something like that, so that we can get a better handle on what the percentage of outs that fall outside of directed patrols are happening, because most of these are 0, 1%. It kind of, you don't really get a good feel, So if we just drop that out of the calculation and put that on a separate line, say, okay, for the month of March, we had directed patrols of 900 directed patrols, and then everything else bump it up against the remainder so that we get bigger percentages to see where the issues are.
Right. I don't believe, if I'm understanding you correctly, I don't believe that I can take that out of that report because it's a canned report.
Is it exportable?
I don't believe so. I have to double check the system.
All right. I'm just thinking outside the box here if that might be something we look at. And I did notice you guys had a hit and run and a vessel stop. So you're getting some use of the boat. Thank you. That's it.
Got it.
I noticed the other day that one of my neighbors, Frankenfield, jumped out in front of a truck that was speeding down the road and made him slam on his brakes. Almost hit him. But the guy gets out and they get in an altercation in the middle of the road. And the guy wound up chasing Frankenfield back into his house. But yeah. I see you got on here the speed humps. We'll be talking about them at the car show on Saturday, I believe.
Well, that car show was canceled.
Right.
That event was. So they're actually going to be coming to the police chief swearing in and having a booth there at that.
So we're going to talk to them then?
Yeah, so you can talk to them when they come in.
Okay. I got a meeting at 6 that day too. So. All right.
What car show? What are you talking about?
The one that was going to happen.
We're going to cancel. So
For the Centennial?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The one that was going to be at Ocean Honda.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that to do with speed bumps, though?
Well,
it's on there. It says you're going to have a conversation, a study, and a workshop on 412.
Oh, that's the Safe Street stuff.
Yeah, the Safe Streets
But
for
it's
All.
been canceled,
The
so.
engineering firm doing that was going to have a booth.
Oh, booth at the car show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because we're running up to where we need to get that report done.
Yeah.
And so they wanted at least one more public event.
Okay.
to try to elicit more information.
So we're going to have a public event?
Combo. Yeah, it's a combo.
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, the only one that is coming up that will be somewhat public
Business
is going
Expo.
to be, it'll be the swearing in.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Swearing in of the police chief. When's the swearing in of the council?
That's the next meeting, 22nd.
Isn't that, okay.
Yeah, that was a change. Normally it
The
would
day
have been
after.
Monday.
Yeah.
And that provision passed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? Councilman Burke, or Councilwoman Burke.
Okay.
Only thing I had was I went to the MPO meeting today, and this is really probably MPO, but I talked to Nick Irwin with the county. I had reached out to him a few months ago, whatever. There's a section of Congress that you may be familiar with. It's all 35 mile an hour on both sides and then going down, but there's right after you turn off a bridge, it's 45 for just a very short period of time until you get past what used
All
to
the
be
way to
back.
Pine Hill.
Right until well, not all the way to Pine Hill. Actually, it changes like right after the that big Matt Todd's property.
Right after Matt Tut's.
Yeah, just a very short. I don't know why there's been 45. So I brought that to their attention. They did some studies, and that's going before the Board of County Commissioners to reduce that to 35 as well. And what that does, obviously, is it opens that up for low speed vehicles to come across there. Otherwise, you'd have to go all the way up to Regency to cross. And so that's going to happen very, very soon. I wanted to use that as a lead in to start talking about the whole golf cart Port Richey area, because we've got the maps out there. You brought it before about there was some inconsistencies. I don't know if those ever got fixed or whatever in our ordinance and the map.
No, they never got fixed.
And I know there's some county roads that we probably can't say whether or not golf carts can be on them. Is that correct? Or do you know? Like Washington, is that ours or is that county's? Or
Washington's not a county road. That's a city road.
Congress, that's county road.
Well, part of Washington may be county, but not in our city.
Well, anyway, so what I'd like to do in preparation as some of these development things and whatnot starts to happen, I'd like to try to take an overall look at our golf cart footprint within the city and see if we can fix some things. Like I don't see why you can't take it on Washington all the way. Why it's excluded, I don't know. But if we could maybe look at shoring up some of that.
Got traffic issues on Washington first, don't we, Lisa? People speed down there.
Same as Grand. They're both the same. Grand, Washington are the same. They're straight. I mean, they're stretches and yeah.
You know, Washington seems to worse and worse, but maybe.
Washington's bad from the curve in Newport Richey.
Yeah.
Clear up because it's a straight shot.
It is, yep.
It's just a straight shot. So come around that corner, you hit the gas.
So is there any interest in looking at that? Or
Yeah, definitely.
let's see if we can open it up. I think that's pretty much it. So I'll take a motion to adjourn if anybody wants to.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Thanks. Motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.